Welcome to Global Voice Radio with Nikki Ruffin-Smith, host of Nyas Project. Join Nikki as she talks about education, family fun, and building a business. Join Nikki Ruffin-Smith, host of Nyas Project, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Who am I? My name is Nyas. I was born on a Friday. I was born Friday the 13th. Mom says I am special and they are blessed. My mommy went to her doctor one day to see how I was doing. But then, the doctor told Mommy it was time for me to come into the world. My mommy and daddy knew I had a purpose, so they named me Nyas, which means purpose. Only 3 amazing letters. N-Y-A. That's me. This is my mommy. The first one plus my daddy. The second one equals me. Number 3. I have a beautiful sister who is old. She is 25. I have a brother who is old too. He's 24. My sister plus my brother plus me equals 3. Guess what? I have a nephew. I love him so much. He's older than me. He is not 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. He's 6. I love numbers. Say them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't wait to share my next story with you. Until then, keep reading this one. I have 2 dogs, 1 and 2. Their names are Star and Cupid. Sometimes Mommy and I share special moments away from my daddy, my sister, my brother, my doggies. We take pictures together all the time, just the 2 of us. 1 and 2. Then sometimes Mommy and Daddy have their special times together. Mommy says even then I'm always in their hearts. Mommy plus Daddy equals me. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Now it's your turn to write down all the numbers you've learned. I know you can do it. Keep going. Phew! You did it! You are amazing too!
Hello, everybody. Hello. I'm going to give it a minute. Give people a minute to join in. Y'all, I'm a little under the weather today, but I'm going to still come in nonetheless because I said that I would. Just a little under the weather, hair looking crazy. I'm looking crazy, but it is what it is. Yeah, a little under the under the weather today, but I'm going to still come on and present what I have to present for today. Let me invite some folks, and you guys do the same as you join Nyas Project Radio and Facebook Live. Please share, because that's the only way that we are going to get our voices heard, you know. I need you guys to share, and I need you guys to take part in this, in what I'm doing and trying to do with STEM, and that is bringing awareness into mostly the urban communities and the need for STEM or STEAM, and how it is going to impact our kids in the future, and how our kids are going to be very well prepared for the future, especially if you guys join me in the crusade for STEM awareness. We don't want any kids to be left behind, especially kids of color. We have been left behind for too long, and I am just on a crusade to change that and to make things different. Excuse me again for my voice. Excuse me, y'all notice this little bug or whatever it is going around, and I'm just trying to defeat it with my little natural stuff and all that kind of thing, but I'm still going to keep going on and continue on with what I do, and that is STEM, and that is empowerment, that is having fun, that is all of those things that y'all know me to be, especially you guys that keep joining me every week, day after day that I'm on. I appreciate it so much. So share. I'm going to also end up posting everything I have eventually to YouTube, and to see how far we can reach the audience there, because really I've just been dealing with Facebook. Facebook has been great for me, but I know that's not the end all be all. I know there are a lot of avenues that I can go, but when you get to a certain age like me, you like, wait a minute, I'm all of this right here. But of course I have to reach out to as many audiences as I can if I'm trying to get my message out there. So again, y'all, please share. I'm still inviting people, and prayerfully you are doing the same. I'm gonna come on, and remember I talked about the contest, the Black History Month contest, and that if you join me and listen out for some of the names and some of the things that I discuss on the show, then you have a chance to win some very, very, very great prizes, So I'm asking that you please share. Please encourage other people to take part in the show as well. And I would definitely bring people, bring people on. It doesn't matter, because we are all in this together. So this week I want to talk about, before I get into anything else, I want to discuss some of the things about STEM. Hey, everybody that's joining me. I want to talk about the importance. I gave y'all an introduction on my last radio show of what STEM is, but I want to kind of elaborate on some of those things. And so I want to tell you that in today's ever-changing world, educators have quite a role to play, making sure students complete their K through 12 schooling, and that they are well prepared for college, even though their career choices are yet undefined. We all know that there are kids that choose not to go to college. They choose not to go to college. They go to the military, they work, what have you. But we have to stand in the gaps for them, regardless of what they choose to do, okay? But while STEM is a movement, it's a call to elevate the studies of sciences, technology, engineering, and math to include art. And this is supposedly, allegedly, or confirmed a national priority. And it's began to take shape. It came into fruition really in 2006. And there was a separate push to add the arts in it. But like many people like me, without art, a kid or a person is not well-rounded. It's not well-rounded at all. And I'm glad that they're seeing that art is a very, very important part of this transition into the focus of education. And hey, Jemiah. So I want to also, again, y'all, I'm under the weather, but I'm going to keep on going as much as I can go. and keep talking about the things that I could talk about, especially when STEM is concerned. You know, I have a role to play in this community just like you. And one of these things is to ensure that our kids are educated. Our kids have a running head start in things, you know. So let me keep going. By integrating art and design with all the STEM subjects, schools are working to strengthen students' abilities to be creative. That's the part about it. That's the great part about it. And so they have recognized the failures before, and they figured that, okay, let me add art into it. We can't get away from art. You cannot get away from art, no matter how. You cannot get away from physical activity, period. So you have to integrate that. Creative activity, you cannot get away from that. The art in various forms, from music to dance to sculpting to creative writing, also challenge students to explore human condition. And that is so true, because a lot of kids, as you see in the inner cities, in the urban part of the community, they use art to express themselves, to talk about what's going on within themselves. And we have to take notice to that. Also, art it may open the door to some of the things that sciences and technology, engineering and math have been questioning. Art can be that key that opens that door to that. So again, this becomes, and this is what they're saying, this becomes an important aspect of problem solving by not only helping them learn how to collaborate, that means bringing everything together and working together. It also gives them a developing solution-driven idea to what the world needs. So building these types of human connections are what sparks true innovation. And therefore, they labeled this STEAM. I call it STEM, including the A. That's what I call it. So it says, with STEAM projects, students learn by investing, creating, and designing and understanding the true meaning of design. All right. So I am going to later on on my shows, I'll talk about bringing all of that into play with each other, and how the National Endowment for the Arts have also joined forces in this effort, and how you can also serve in that capacity. Not just, don't think that you're just a small voice in the community. You are a major part in this community, and you have a voice. You have a right to become an advocate like me in making sure that children that look like me are well equipped for the future. And that is what I wanted to talk about this morning as far as STEM is concerned. I want to also add one more thing to that. There are 11 tips for bringing STEAM. If STEAM or STEM is not in your schools, here is what you can do, or 11 tips to bring that into your educational arena. And that, number one, is have a clear vision of what your STEAM goals are and let them be realistic. Okay? So you want to be honest about where you have measured those students to be. You don't want to just overwhelm them and bring in astronaut activity into that classroom. You want to start at a small level and work your way up. Okay? And then you want to talk about getting creative with the funding. I just took a grant class this morning, and it was phenomenal. And here's something else you can look at, and it's donorschoose.org. donorschoose.org, and you can look at that website to bring in, to get some money, maybe talk about getting monies, getting people to come into the schools and change the focus, what have you. But go to that website, okay? Apply. Again, I took a grant class this morning about applying for grants when it comes to STEM or anything else. I took that this morning on how to really effectively target in when it comes to STEM and STEAM in my community. So you might want to inbox me on that as well if you're interested in that. So here is number 3. Number 3 is ensure that teachers have the training they need to understand the concept. Now, a lot of teachers do not understand, and that is okay, because then you have concerned community representatives or advocates like myself who have sought training in these areas, who can come into the schools, who can sit with teachers and kind of give them some ideas. And for many teachers, the STEAM idea won't be second nature. It's not, because that's not what they learned in the beginning. We don't expect that. I don't expect that. That's not what they learned in the beginning. But that's sometimes people think STEAM just means adding certain parts of science, adding certain components of engineering and math and all of that. But it's not. It's mixing the left brain and the right brain and to work together. And you have to have some type of training, some type of introduction in order to do that, because overall we weren't taught to think like that. When I went to school, that wasn't taught. Art was a total separate thing. Math was separate. Everything wasn't integrated together. Well, so a lot of things have changed. Number 4, give teachers time to tinker and collaborate. We have to give teachers time to accept, process everything, and then collaborate with people that they need to collaborate with. Hi, Michael. We have to do that. Change is uncomfortable. Change. Other teachers who've been there for a while are territorial, so they'll be like, well, this worked for me. Well, yeah, it worked for you, but is it going to work for the children for their future? For the future that's going to take care of you when you're sitting in a nursing home or maybe not even here anymore. So we have to think about this at all times. And number 5 says quickly find your pollinators and empower them to push the movement forward. So I'm what you call that right at this moment. I'm the advocate, I'm the pollinator, because see, guess what? I started over with a family, and my daughter is going on 3 years old. So therefore, I have kicked into second gear, and I decided this is what I need to do. Look out for her future. Look out for the other children that are a part of her world. Look out for their futures. And then in the same aspect, I'm looking out for mine if I'm still around, So, and then number 6 says bring the outside in. Bring in people. Bring in folks that kind of have and dabbled in this already, and say, okay, show us or tell us which way to go. And okay, so next week I'll go through the remaining 11 of these, and I'll talk about that. So but my radio show is only 1 hour long, and I promise to give y'all so much in 1 hour. Again, I'm breathing hard because I'm trying to breathe through this nose of mine, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it. So I have what I call my I digress moment. And so guess what? I have an I digress thought. I was thinking on a passage that was that's in the Bible. Y'all, you know, I can move from one subject to the other, so stay with me. Right now, I'm on part 2 of my radio show, Facebook Live, and I'm talking about I Digress. Okay, I Digress Moment, and I want to pull up the passage in the Bible. I'm like Bishop T.D. Jakes, go with me to the Bible. Go with me to the Bible. And where we talk about the woman respecting her husband. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all time. Woman respecting her husband, and the husband loving the wife. Give you time, because I gotta pull it up too. So let me pull that up. I had such a revelation, y'all. It's just, that's in Ephesians 5th chapter. Such a revelation. And y'all, please stay with me, because this is probably going to be 3 in 3 segments. But Ephesians 5, wives, respect your husbands. That right there, I had always wondered, and I don't know about you, I've always wondered why that passage said, wives, respect your husbands. Okay, and I know there's so much more than what I'm getting ready to say right now, but it came to me so clearly why that said that. Now, being a woman, we already know. I'm not going to even go into what was taught here. I'm going to go into what was given to me in my spirit. We already know as women how we are, okay? It doesn't take much for us to love. It doesn't take much at all for us to love. Unless now we've been hurt, we've been ruined, or what have you, whatever. But I'm talking about initially. It doesn't take much for us to love. Hold 1 second. I'm going. Y'all share this, because this is going to be deep. I talked about the kids in the beginning in the science, technology, engineering, and math. Excuse me, I'm stopped up. But I'm going to talk about something a little bit as I digress, my I Digress moment, so that you can be a little bit more blessed by this show. So let's take a 2-second break for a minute. I'm going to get them, folks. And you do the same, okay? You do the same. Because this is really, I believe, will bless you as it blessed me. This whole show is a blessing in itself. And I really want you guys to hear me and what I'm saying here. So I digress segment of the radio show, I'm talking about Ephesians 5. So please go there. We already summed up the first part of the show, which was STEM, and we talked about some very important things. But now I want to talk about Ephesians 5. And if you have your some form of technology available outside of what you're looking at me with, maybe you can still do it with your phone or what have you. And it says wives, real husbands. And it talks about husbands love your wives. And again, I often wonder why it said that. And I know there are preachings and teachings on that particular topic, but it was planted so vividly in my spirit that I wanted to share what that came, what I got from that. Okay, so here we go. And I want you guys, hey Miss Tracy, I want you guys, husbands love your wives, wives respect your husband. Okay, what was given to me hit me like a ton of bricks. We already know that we as women, we are capable of loving even the most unlovable. The most unlovable. So love is not a hard thing for us. It's not a hard thing. And God knew this. God knew that it was easy. And God knew that the enemy could play on that love. Can play on that. And we will go to the end of time still loving, still treating, still whatever we are as women do. Right? So, and then I said, well, why is it it says husbands love your wife? Because men, on the other hand, they are analytical thinkers. They equate love more so by what a person does, what a person shows. It doesn't start off as a feeling like we do, where we feel, where we see potential. We can see a dead flower and we can say, it's not dead. There's going to be some life. Give it some sun. Give it this. Give it that. Where a man may say, that's dead. Let's move on. It's over. Okay? So, God's dealing with two different people, two different aspects of God. All right. So, then I said, well, again, God, why are we to respect? But God says, I didn't say not to love him. I know you're gonna love him. That's a given. I already know you're gonna love him. But respect is something different. Respect is something totally different. Now, how many of you out there, women, have said, Lord, 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 please stop the respect I have for so-and-so. Please, God, let me always respect him. Or if I lose respect, because respect has to do with what a person, to us, what a person say and does. It doesn't have to do, we're going to continue to love. We'll continue to love. We'll continue to love all day long. But the respect of that is over. And we will move on. Now, let me tell you another part that I saw, that the Spirit showed me. And I know this is a great I digress moment from talking about STEM. But I want to reach all aspects of my audience here. And I had to say this. We're coming along February 14th, and excuse me, y'all. Again, I'm under the weather, but February 14th, the lovers, and people are quick to say I do. But I really, really, really want to let you guys know you have to know yourself. You have to, I'm not even talking about knowing that person so much, because once you know yourself, you may not even want to deal with that person no more. You have to know yourself and what limits you have, what are you willing to give, how far are you willing to go. Okay, no matter who that, because if you're a woman, it don't matter who that person is, you have to know who you are, because you'll deal with whatever. You'll deal with a whole lot as a woman, and God knew this. So God changed that up, and he said, respect your husband. Respect. Learn when to move back. Learn when to pull back. All that you have so much to give, learn when to put back. Know when to say, okay, I'm going to let him do it. I'll let him give. I'll let him bestow. Because I can give, and I can give, and I can give. That's why they call the earth mother. Look at how much the earth goes on and on and on and on infinitely, over and abundantly, because that's what we've been blessed with. Mother Earth, you are mother. We have been blessed with that. Now, another part of that is when it comes to, God knew that if God say, woman, love your husband, where is that stopping point for us? Again, there is no stopping point for a woman. But there is a stopping point when it comes to respect. When it comes to respect. So, for example, we will love our husbands or our spouse or our boyfriend, girlfriend, what have you. We'll love them like we love our kids. We'll overdo it. And the level of respect when that comes to dealing with a man or your significant other is not appropriate. That's not appropriate to that of a child. It's not. Or your kids. That's not appropriate for that. So God knew that. He knew that we would pour in. We would go over and above. So he says, women, respect your husband. Wives, respect your husband. Because that says something different. That's a stopping point. That's a cutoff. Let me move back. Let me not smother. Let me not be too nurturing. Because he's had a mother, and if he has not had a mother, that point in his life, only God can do that. We are not that. Women, respect your husbands. Come on, somebody. I don't know if y'all hearing me or what you're doing, but that is a word. And husbands, love your wife. Now, that's a whole story in itself. A whole nother story, but because I'm on the wife right now, Ephesians 5, wives, respect your husband. I'm talking about wives right at this moment. Wives right at this moment. There's a reason why it say, wives, love your husband. That's a given. It's already given. We already do it over and over and over and more than abundantly. But what about the respect? And some of y'all probably saying, well, he has to earn my respect. Well, he earned that the day you said I do. He earned that the day you said I do. So that part of it is already signed, sealed, and delivered. It is. Now, so my I digress moment is over. Now let's talk about fun, and more fun. I hope you guys, I hope it's not jamming up on me, but more fun and fun, and I will always have fun added into this. Again, I'm talking about, we got cruise going on in the Lights and Empowerment Cruise. I will be speaking at it, y'all. I'm very excited about that. So if all goes well and everything, all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, I will be there and I'll be speaking about the subject I love the most, which is STEM and STEAM. I'll be talking about that, and that's a cruise in July. The cruise is a 4-day, 3-night cruise, and it's less than $500. So, and it's, you guys want to ask about it, I know, so inbox me now. We will talk about it. So that should sum up my show. I am also going to add a young lady. Oh, I forgot about, oh my gosh, y'all. I forgot about our Black History Moment. I forgot about our Black History Moment. I am going to have a young lady on my show, Miss Lucretia Shaw. She will be on my show from Selma, Alabama. She will be on there. And then I want you guys, this is a part of the contest now. If you can tell me what the Dark Tower was when it came to, it had something to do with Madam C.J. Walker and one of her employees that she had. This particular employee called her area the Dark Tower. What was that? What was that? So I need you guys to research that comment and let me know. Let me know, because I got something special for you. Got something special. So I'll talk to you soon. God bless you, and see you next.
Hi, it's Naya. You're just in time for today's project. Are you ready? Today, I'm going to explore technology. I remember the last time I shared my super math skills. 1 + 1 = 2. You are so smart, just like me. I'll show you what I can do now. Are you ready? I know a new word. It is technology. Technology is using machines, big and small, to do something. Most people use technology every single day. Mommy and Daddy said if I'm sweet, I can use our laptop to FaceTime my god sister. Her name is Zion. Zion is a big girl. She is smart like me. She uses technology. She likes talking on her cell phone, on her tablet, on her laptop, and on her computer. These things are technology. Do you remember what technology is? What is technology? Circle those things that are technology. Good job! Friends, it's time for me to go. I'll see you soon to talk about my next project. See you soon!
Good afternoon or good morning to some of the people out there who are listening to my project, Nyas Project Radio. And I am hosting something different for February and March. I'm bringing on some fabulous people who represent some of the things that we have going on. Like for February, I'm bringing on women and men of color who are extraordinary in the community, and they are doing some good things, like they're writers, they are coaches, they are teachers, and just all walks of life. For March, I'll be bringing on some fabulous women. You might even hear or see some of the women again that I brought on in February. So today, I definitely don't want to mess up my next guest, her name. She recently got married, and so I want her to introduce herself. What makes this so exciting, y'all, I have to say this, because what makes this so exciting is that Selma, Alabama is where I was raised. And this young lady is also a product of Selma, Alabama. We've met. Nothing happens just by coincidence. She showed up at my conference, didn't know she was at my conference, but it was this beautiful knowing her, and we kept in touch, in and out from, almost 2 years ago, if not 2 years. And so, we're both in Selma, Alabama, the historical city of Selma. She is doing some fabulous things in Montgomery, Alabama, and she's hoping to branch off. Miss Lucretia, I'm going to let her introduce her married name and all the things that she's doing. But I thank you so much, sis, for coming on. And without further ado, Nyas Project welcomes you. Hi.
Hello, that's awesome. First, I just want to thank God for allowing me and giving me to use you to give me an opportunity to do this. I really appreciate that a lot. Because I know that, as you stated, God, places people across your path for a reason. It's just not by accident. But I just want to introduce myself. I am married now. I am Lucretia Cargill, so it's no longer Shaw. My name is Lucretia Cargill. I am a Selma native from Selma, Alabama. I grew up in Selma. Selma is my hometown, and now I reside in Montgomery, Alabama. I am now a 7-time self-published author where I publish inspirational guides and an inspirational speaker as well. I am a Christian blogger. I'm the founder of a women's empowerment group that I have on Facebook that's called The Divine Truth. And what that group consists of and what it is designed for women to empower, to encourage, inspire, and uplift all women on a daily basis, because you just never know what one kind word can say to someone or just an I love you can say to someone. So I'm basically here to serve other people. I'm here to make an impact on lives.
That's awesome. What I'm doing here now, because I want to pull up that fabulous flyer that you had. And can you tell us about the flyer that you just presented on Facebook? Tell us about what you're having. You're hosting an event. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have actually decided, since I'm getting ready to release my 7th book, the inspirational guide that's called A Woman Clothed in Strength. And, oh my goodness, that phrase itself actually just speaks for every woman. And I'm getting ready to do a book launch release on February the 23rd, 2018, and I'm going to do it on live. I'm going to actually pull out excerpts from the manual to give you a little bit of background and insight on what the book is actually talking about. And even when in the writing, I see myself in that book, and I'm quite sure a lot of other women who have came from the struggle or who have came from a strong background of women of virtue, women of substance, can basically see themselves in that book, just to encourage women and to empower them on how to obtain strength and dignity from the Lord.
Okay, give us, I noticed this, is this already published? This book is already?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you have people who have already read the book and everything. So it's okay?
They have not read it already. I'm getting ready to, I'm sorry. I do apologize for that. Do you see me?
Mm-hmm, I see you.
Oh. My camera, I don't know what happened just then. But no, the book is already, it is on Amazon already, and it is on Kindle. So what I want to do, and since I'm doing it as a book launch release, I want to be able to give a lot of insight on what the book actually consists of. There's my camera. I was looking for it.
Yeah, you're there.
Oh. So the book is out already. It is out.
Can you share with us something, maybe? Something in the book? From the book?
Yes.
You don't mind? Okay.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here.
Okay. No worries.
Definitely. I want to give you an excerpt, and this just of the book. I want to introduce it to you. Let me do something real quick. I want to make sure. I don't know if I could. When I did that, did you just see what I pulled up? My screen is not shared. You can just see my face, right?
I just see you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. All right. Let me give you a little bit of background on this book that's called A Woman Clothed in Strength. And I know we all can relate to this. So if you look at it, the book of Proverbs is really full of word pictures that help us understand deep truths, because one that occurs again and again is the comparison of wisdom to a woman. And this woman is very strong and outspoken. She shouts in the street. The woman we see in Proverbs 31 is committed to her relationships, her husband and children, and her children depend on her and are blessed by her. It actually gives us an insight on how this Proverbs 31 woman actually bring everything into concept, in which she works hard and efficiently. You know, she's creative. She knows how to use her skills to make money. She also reaches out to those in need. She takes care of herself. You know, it's just, you know, being a Proverbs 31 woman actually shows us a larger picture of what we are all capable of being as a woman. So as I look at myself, and, you know, and I encourage other women to look at their life and to ask this question: are you a woman clothed in strength? It's like a mirror God holds up for us to look into, and then he says, see, this is who I created you to be. And as women, God calls us to embody love and wisdom. Each of us would do that differently with our unique skills and individual strengths. But we all have an amazing thing to offer in this world. We all have gifts. We all have talents. And we just have to use those gifts and talents to glorify God, because God believes in us. And we should also believe in ourselves. I mean, this is the sort of book that's intended to be read slowly, one meditation at a time. And doing so would give you time to ponder each section of the scripture of the Proverbs 31 woman, and to apply it to your own life. We have to hear what God has to say to you. Just hear what God has to say to you through Proverbs 31 woman. Now, the word strength, in the Hebrew language, you look at it, it means boldness, might, power. It's strength not of body. It's not a physical strength primarily. It's strength of the mind, strength of your heart, strength of your soul. And, you know, that Proverbs 31 woman is a woman of strength. She's clothed with strength of the mind and the heart. And this word dignity, which means honor, it means beauty, it means majesty, it means excellence, splendor. I mean, she's a woman who is clothed in strength and dignity, strength and honor, might and beauty. And if you look at it, here's a woman who is able to bear up under pressure and adversity, which means no matter what you're facing in life, no matter what the trials and tribulations that you're facing, this woman is actually, she understands that her strength comes from God. And as I reflected on everything I have encountered in my life, I see how strong I have become in the Lord. And I found that I am able to withstand opposition and to continue blessing and serving the Lord and others, even in the midst of my storm and even in the midst of my crises that I'm actually facing every day. And when I describe that woman, I want to ask other women, what does somebody you know comes to mind? And to be honest, you should be looking at yourself as a woman clothed in strength. Or is there somebody you've seen go through, there's somebody you know or seen go through something really difficult in their lives? Or have they been going through some difficult waters or troubled waters in their lives? I mean, I can actually name a few, including myself. But God, what I want to also, this book is actually talking about on how God can restore any situation that you may be facing or have gone through. And I just want to leave this, you know, as far as, I even read this passage by this guy named Matthew Henry, and he quoted this. He says, strength and honor are her clothing, in which she wraps herself, and in which she appears to the world. She enjoys a firmness and constancy of mind, has spirit to bear up under the many crosses and disappointments, which even the wise and virtuous must expect to meet with in this world. And this is her clothing. And when I looked at that passage and when I read that passage, you know, strength and honor, you know, I had to really figure out, you know, understand, you know, even in my past where my strength actually came from. And when you are able to bear the infirmities, and the situations, the trials and tribulations that you're going through in life, and you're still able to serve other people, and you're still able to encourage other people, that is strength within itself. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but that quote actually describes me. It describes me. And it's what I want to describe me. And, I just asked the question, so where do you find strength and beauty if that's what you want to be clothed with? So I just wanted to give a little bit of background on the book that I have actually written, With a Woman Clothed in Strength. I can go on and on what a woman in clothed in strength actually details, and that's just a little bit that I wanted to share with you on that. Now, if you need more, I can give you more.
That is absolutely phenomenal. Is that the book that you sent me in the box?
No, that's not the one. The one that I sent you was called The Spiritual Battle. That's something totally different.
Okay. Wow. So now I'm really going to move you up in my sheet of my books, because that was phenomenal. I wanted to keep you going and going and going, and I hate that I don't have the time to. But because I want to talk about some more things as well before our time runs out. That was great, and you really need to come back on again, share some more. As far as your experiences, would you like to share something about your walk, your life, as to how you got to the Lucretia you are right now?
Ooh, that's a story within itself. As I look back over my life and growing up, going through the struggle and seeing my grandparents and my mom going through the struggle, and that really just gave me a lot of insight on life, because I have not always been this way. Growing up on the west side of Selma, Alabama, I'm quite sure you can relate to that as well, but I never knew who I was going to be when I grew up, but I knew exactly what type of woman that I wanted to be. And going through a lot of different, whether it's from bad breakups, bad relationships, I experienced a lot of different turmoils, trials, and tribulations in my life, where, it just got me to where I am right now. But what really just broke it to the core, a couple years ago, I had a best friend, and she was 7 months pregnant. And, I knew, even though I was trying to live a worldly life out there in the world, I still had one foot into the church, and I had one foot out there in the world. And I knew that God was not pleased with my yo-yo Christianity life that I was trying to live. But to make a long story short, what really just broke me down to the core, just to make me start walking in a different direction to get a different result. For one, I got tired of living a repetitive life cycle. I have two daughters, one is 16 and one is 13 now. And, I knew that God did not just put me on this earth just to work, have kids, live, and die. I knew that it was a purpose behind everything that I actually faced in my lifetime. So the gifts and talents that I have now, I never thought that I would actually be a writer. I never thought that, I would be graced with, providing different products and services to people and serving people, encouraging people. Encouraging people is a talent within itself, and just being, the things that I've actually went through in my life. But back to the situation, what really broke me down, my best friend, she was 7 months pregnant, and this was about 4 years ago, actually, and I had just saw her that day, and she came out to my house. I was living in Valley Grande, and, we were talking, and she was just telling me a lot of different things that she had been facing and going through. And after that, after she left there, like 30 minutes later, I received a call and saying that she had an accident and she died. And that kind of, put a damper on me as well. And then 10 days later, as we were celebrating her repast, my cousin, she was close to me as well. His wife, she died like 10 days later. So it was like two people who were in close connection with me, two people who I just, was around. That really just put a light bulb in my head to make me say, okay, God, it could have been me here in this situation, or it could have been me over here in this situation. So, when I've learned when God actually, when he allowed things to happen, to people around us, we have to come to realization, that, he is trying to tell us something. So that really broke me down to the core. And ever since then, I've been walking a straight path with God. I mean, it's like my whole life just flashed upon me, and my whole life just changed so instantly in that way. And that actually took a toll on me, dealing with grief and dealing with, it even got to the point where I was, in a depression stage, going through anxiety. And when I tell you God, delivered me out of that situation, with everything that I was actually dealing with, I just had to learn how to just turn it over to him and just to cast all my cares and burdens upon him. And, ever since then, that really changed my life. That when a lot of people ask me, how did you get this way, or what happened, that's what happened. And sometimes people get it, sometimes people don't. Sometimes it takes others longer than others to get to where they need to go. And sometimes you just have to find, that when you get to that breaking point, and just say, hey, okay, Lord, just, I'm ready, just I surrender. Some people are not at that point yet. And that's what broke me down to my core, because I knew I had something to live for. I had people who were dependent on me, and I had, my kids to take care of. So basically going through that situation, and even dealing with, the bad relationships and situations that I actually went through, changed my whole life. And as I look back over my life and I see where God has brought me from, I refuse to go back. I refuse to go back living a life that's full of sin, that's in the world. My mission now is to, show others, to empower them and let them know that there is still hope in God, that you can be delivered, that you can start walking in a different direction and get a different result, that your life can change. But the thing is this, you have to allow God to change your life, because he can change your life. He can do that. I'm a living testament. God can change your life. And what a lot of people, they're so used to what I used to do. Well, Lucretia used to party. Lucretia used to, drink. Lucretia used to stay in the club 24/7. That was the old Lucretia. That old Lucretia is dead and gone. And the new Lucretia, is living for God. And, walking in a different direction to get a different result. God has really changed my life.
This is remarkable. This is remarkable, sis. We're gonna y'all, audience that are listening in, I know this is a touching story. I know it is, and if it reached one person, we did it. We did it. And I thank God for my sister here today. Nothing happens just by accident. I had another young lady scheduled for this show today, but I called Lucretia, and she said I'm able to come on, and I thank God. Lucretia, please tell us where we can find you, your site, your website, anything you want to tell us, how we can find you.
You can go to www.lucretiacargill.com. lucretiacargill.com. You can see a lot of different things on my website. I am advertising on my books. All of my books are on there. All of my inspirational guides is from all walks of life. So whether you are desiring to receive God's best, whether you are wanting to know how to walk by faith and not by sight fully, or whether you want to know how the power of God can work in you, through you, and for you, or how powerful prayer is, or if you want to know how God can deliver you out of any different situation that you may be facing, or how to discover your purpose in God, because we all have a purpose. Everything that you go through in life, the pain that you're experiencing, there is a purpose behind that pain that you are experiencing. And right now, the book that I'm coming out with, A Woman Clothed in Strength, that is directly dedicated to women, because, you know, women, we are the weaker vessels. But God has created us and made us strong. We're the apple of the Creator's eye. And, you know, we have to really walk in dignity, walk in honor, walk in love, walk in loyalty. We have those characteristics to do that. You just have to be willing to move your feet and let God just guide you.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to have her on again, and I thank you. And that just sums up my time for today. God bless you, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Join Nikki Ruffin-Smith, the host of Nyas Project, on Global Voice Radio every Thursday at 7 p.m.